Rob, welcome to Horsehead Bookends for another Gaming Friday. This is week 2 of the new format. Last week we did Cult of the New, where we talk about new games that usually have come out within the year. For week 2 in the new format, we're going to do something I like to call late to the table. These are the games that were probably the new hotness at one point, but now whatever is new kind of takes its place. This is actually one that I completely didn't even realize when it came out. I never played it, and I played it, the first time I played it, I absolutely hated the game, but right after I played it, I couldn't stop thinking about it, and I wound up buying it, and I played it a bunch of times, and it's become one of my favorite games, and that is Beyond the Sun from Dennis Chan, put out by Rio Grande Game. Now, Beyond the Sun is a 2-4 player worker placement tech tree area control style game where each player takes their turn choosing an action and then following the action, doing the production phase, and then claiming an achievement if possible. Once 3 of the 4 achievements are claimed, then it is the end of the game. Everyone has one more turn, and that's it. I'm not going to teach you how to play Beyond the Sun because there are probably a ton of different videos out there that could do a better job than I can. But what we're going to do is I'm going to show it to you, I'm going to show you the actions, and we'll play a few rounds, and we'll definitely check it out. Beyond the Sun is a space civilization game where players collectively decide the technological progress of humankind at the dawn of the spacefaring era, while competing against each other to be the leading faction in economic development, science, and galactic influence. Here we have Beyond the Sun set up for a 3-player game. Here is the main board with the tech trees. Here is the different planets you can colonize, which is sort of the area control portion of the game. And below that, I think you can see the purple player, the blue player, and the orange player is off screen down at the bottom of the map here. Actually down at the bottom of the frame. So we will take a look at all the player boards as well. Let's do that first. Okay, so here is the player board. Sorry if it's a little shaky. I'm actually holding the camera in my hand right now. For example, one of the characters is the Zhengyi Brotherhood. It tells you what your starting resources right here, and there is also, after regular setup, what you would do. These are your cubes, which create your population, or they create spaceships, depending on what you do. And down here is your production phase. When it's time to produce, you can produce people, you can produce ore, or you can do one of these resource trade goals, which is hard to see right now because of the glare, but you basically pay ore and you can turn one of your goods into a person, or pay an ore and have your ship turn into a person, or you could just get rid of population and gain 1 ore. Up top here is the main board for Beyond the Sun. This is set up for a 3-player game. I apologize for the shadow. But down here are the basic starting actions you can take, part of the worker placement part of the game. And as you can see, here's your tech tree. You do start with level 1. There are 4 things open, and as you get them, you can follow the trees down of what you can unlock with level 2, level 3, and finally level 4 at the end of the game. You also unlock some of these specialty actions you can take, and you'll find them under the different cards. Down here below the main board, you do have different planets. You actually all start on one specific planet unless you're told otherwise during your setup. For example, the orange player does have one in deep space. Now what you want to do is you can get movement of your ships, and you can create new ships and move them around from planet to planet. When you have the most presence on a certain planet, you can actually claim it by placing one of your production, either ore or population, based on the symbol. Right here there's an ore symbol. Sometimes you'll get a little special bonus, but otherwise this shows that you do control that planet. Once you have a certain number of control in the planet, you can actually colonize it. And then what you would do is you pay your military power for this planet, and then you actually get to keep it next to you, and sometimes they'll give you some bonus actions as well. Once we do a colonize action, we'll get into a little more detail about that. And then finally, right below, I think it's getting cut off by the camera, are the 4 goals that you have to achieve throughout the course of the game. Some have multiple slots, some only have 1. Once 3 are claimed, it triggers the end game conditions. Everyone gets 1 last turn, and that's the end of the game. Also with this game, you do get a nice reference sheet that tells you all about the turn phases, your action phase, your production phase, and then if you get any achievements, it tells you what the different tech colors mean, and it also shows you down here exactly what to do when you have to colonize a planet, which comes in very handy. And then on the back of it, it actually tells you exactly how you score all the points. Let's take a couple rounds. I'm going to start on purple because I always play purple, and they get the first player token. So let's do it. There is no way to change the first player marker, so whoever's the first player, that's what happens throughout the entire game. I don't think it's mattered in games I've played, but it is what it is. Alright, so to start off, what we were going to do is we are going to do some basic spacefaring, and we are going to go right here for terraforming. So what that does for us, no, that's not what we want to do. We want to go to narrow beam lasers. We're going to get 1 ore. We upgrade ship by 1 level. So one of these becomes a 2. Okay, our turn is done. Now we're moving on to the orange team. Orange wants to also do some spacefaring, but they are going to put their population over here. Now, immediate, they get to turn one of their goods cubes into a population. Oh no, I'm sorry. They turned one of their goods cubes into number 1 ship, and they are in deep space right now. Blue player's turn. They want to... Blue player is actually going to go for advanced genetics. And they go up, they gotta put that there. Advanced genetics. They're there, so they get to automate a plant, and they also turn one into population. Okay. The rounds do go very quick once you understand what everything does. And of course, like most worker placement games, you cannot select the same thing again. So what they're going to do right now, they're going to go down here to the narrow beam lasers. They pay 1 ore to turn one of their population into a level 2. Oh, I never produced with either of these. This person is going to produce a population. This person is also going to produce a population. Okay, so now we're going back to them. So they turned 1 into 1, and they can jump 3. So they're going to jump 1, 2, now, and 3. Now, what jump means is, jump is your movement point. For example, if you had to jump 3, you can jump 3 ships, 1 each, 1 ship 3 times, or split them up a 2-in-1 jump, however you want to do it. But I'm going to jump 2 here and 1 there. So what we need to do is we claim that, and it says a refill ore until you have 3, so I have 1, so I'll get 2 more here. And then over there, I think we're going to put another ore down right there. Our turn's over, so we get to produce, and I am actually going to produce ore, and I produced 2 of them. All right, moving on to orange. Orange is going to go down here, and they are going to move. They can turn 1 population into a level 1 ship, and they're going to jump 2, and they're going to jump 1, 2. All right, so they got to do 1 ore for there, and they're going to do 1 plant for there, and they are going to produce 1 population. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to speed this up real fast until I do something that I haven't shown before, including a colonization step, or a once we discover tier 2, tier 3, or tier 4 cards. So move this right along. Okay, so right now, what we did, the blue player actually went to a different action where he can discover a level 2 card, and based on where he was prior, he can discover this one. He can't go here because you need to have a worker in both of those, and no one's here right now. So let's see what card number 2 says. March of Progress, choose a level 1, starting with you. Each faction who has not researched it may now with a good, your little box, and gain its benefits. Okay. So starting with me, I am going to research one of these. I get to automate one of those, and I get an ore. Orange is going to go there. They get to automate one of those. And they get an ore. And I am going for terraforming. And I get to take one of these into one in deep space. Okay, I think we're done with this. So now that we've fulfilled this, I need to look through these level 2 cards and find one that's green because it has to match the color. It has to match the color of what's on the previous card. So I flip 2 at a time. Neither of them are green. Okay, we have one is green. Supply outpost. Upgrade 1 ship by 1 level, then jump 2. Okay, not bad. Alright, so that's what we picked. So we automatically get to upgrade 1 ship by 1 level. This becomes a 2. And I can jump 2. 1, 2, there. And I can put this down here. Alright, well, let's keep moving on. Okay, so I'm going to take my first colonize action with purple right now. So because I was able to do this terraforming from that last event, I can, which is actually a better terraforming than once we unlock here, because you have to pay more for it. So I have to pay 3 ore. And I do have to remove one of my population who gets turned basically back into a box and put on here. And now I can terraform, which is going to be 61 Signy. So what happens is once you terraform, the 2 ships go back to goods. So we have goods, goods. I get to keep this card, and I also get the bonus listed at the bottom. For this one, it's I can trade 3 ore, and I can change a good into a person anytime I want. It used to be only during the production phase, but now I have the ability to do it whenever. And I also get to exploit the resources, and I put another one of these tokens on here. And that's worth 5 points at the end of the game. And it's my production phase, and I'm going to produce people because I don't have any left. Alright, gonna keep moving. So we're going to add another achievement to the game because of this card. So Black Market Industries, I get to gain 1 ore. And then each faction may, once this game, move 1 population growth or ore growth onto this card to increase its production level. This can be done anytime during the turn that faction loses 2 points at the game end. Okay, so that gets to be put out there. It's optional for any player if they want to do it. And now we're going to need a yellow. And we have 2 to choose from. Alright, Space Time Anomaly Studios. And it says I can jump 2. But hold on, I never refilled that. I'm actually going to jump one right there. And I need to put this down. And once I claim it, I get another ore. And now it's my production phase. So I have good ore. I'm going to produce 8 people. Okay, so here's an interesting event card. Basically what it's telling me to do is I tuck this card under a number 2 slot that's either discovered or undiscovered, except the one that I'm currently researching. From now on, researching that costs an additional ore, which is, see, he's researched it already. So I'm gonna put it here. So you want to research that, it's gonna cost you extra. Wow, that's really the 2 really good cards. One is good for colonizing, and the other one will bring ships. I'm gonna go for the ships. Hate to say it. Now I can automate one. What am I automating? I'm automating a plant. I have to jump 1. Alright, so that was a few rounds. I really didn't get into the level 3 yet, and that's what I was hoping to. But I'm actually going to keep playing, and I will eventually. And basically what happens is, some of the goals right now, it is colonize 4 systems is number 1. Number 2 is research your first number 4. Then we also have agility, have 7 or more action spaces on 2 and 3. That's going to come later. And then finally, control, colonize 6 or more systems that share the same specialty. That's actually that'll be pretty tough to get. But as you can see, the actions move kind of fast, but once in a while you kind of get stuck trying to figure out what you want to do. Oh, you know what? So that's how the game really plays out. You just keep going, selecting actions, and filling up this tech tree. Alright, so that was Beyond the Sun by Dennis Chan, put out by Rio Grande Games. The game can go on for a little long. I found usually about an hour and a half to 2 hours is a good playthrough with 3 people. 4 people will push it to the 2-hour mark sometimes, and that is really just because of you have a little bit of analysis paralysis in trying to pick exactly what you want to do. When I first played this game, I said earlier that I absolutely hated it, and I think that's because I was just taught the game and was told to jump in and play. And I found it a little bit confusing figuring out what to do or how to start. So now when I teach the game, once everything's set up, I let the players really take a good look at the board and their available actions to them and what they start with, so they can try to figure out what they want to try to go for, and if they do need to change their strategy mid-game, I think they are a little more accustomed to it just because they spent that extra maybe 10 minutes really looking at the board to figure out what they can plan out some of their moves. So again, this game, when it first came out in 2020, I had no idea about it, never heard of it, never saw it. I don't recall anyone talking about it at the time, but they just recently put out an expansion which does have a solo mode in it, which I haven't tried yet, but I am actually dying to give it a shot. But even though this wasn't one that I did not recognize when it came out, this has become an absolute favorite game of mine. So if you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. Also, please don't forget to click on subscribe, ring the notification bell. You get notified anytime I upload a new video. Questions or comments, feel free to post them below, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Otherwise, talk to you later.